Life does not give you a warning when it decides to break you in half. It does not knock on your door. It does not ask if you are ready. It simply strikes. And when that happens, most people fall apart. They cry, they run, they seek comfort. But not you. Not if you want to become strong. Not if you want to rise without permission. Machiavelli did not address those who are accustomed to comfort. He spoke to those who have been broken, betrayed, rejected. Because that is when the real game begins. When life breaks you, it watches your next moves. It wants to know who you really are. Let everything collapse. Let the money go. Let people turn away. Let the future become uncertain. You will meet yourself in that storm. And if your mind is weak, you will drown in self-pity. But if your mind is cold, alert, and detached, you will evolve. Pain is not an enemy. It is a teacher. It separates the fragile from the hardened. And if you allow it, pain will create a mind that nothing can bend. This world does not care about your feelings. It only cares about who you will become. When you are left in the dark, do not scream. In silence, analyze your thoughts and sort through your emotions. Discover where your weakness lives, and then starve it. Do not reach outward. Look inward. Because once you create a mind that does not crumble under pressure, you will become someone they can never control again. You are not here to be loved. You are not here to remain soft. You are here to become dangerous to everything that ever tried to break you. If you feel this change within yourself, write it down right now. Pain sharpens my strength. Write it down. Cement it. This is how we begin. First, weak minds seek comfort. Strong minds strive for control. When most people suffer, they seek comfort. Distractions, temporary pleasures. They run to friends, noise, or addiction to avoid what is really happening in their minds. But here's the truth. Comfort kills growth. And that is exactly what the world wants. A mind too accustomed to ease will never rise to power. Want to be untouchable? Reprogram how your brain responds to pain. Machiavelli would say that control is the highest form of power. But it does not start with others. It starts with your own reactions. You have been conditioned to numb yourself, scrolling, consuming, blaming, to never face the real war within. But he who masters his mind masters the world. While others chase pleasure, you train your focus. While they seek comfort, you live with discomfort. While they panic, you plan. This is not heartlessness. This is dominance over the only thing that truly matters: your own psychology. People will call you cold when you stop reacting emotionally. Let them talk. They say this only because they can no longer manipulate you. This will frighten them. Your indifference will offend them. But you do not need their understanding. You need your mind to obey your will. And this cannot be achieved by remaining soft. You will confront your darkest thoughts and stand firm. This is the moment where many give in, but not you. Not anymore. If you are ready to train your mind, leaving emotions, weaknesses, and the need for comfort behind, leave your comment. My control is my revenge. Yes, I would know this. Speak less. Power is greater. The second step is to break your emotions. Create sharpness. You have never been weak because of the pain inflicted by life. You became weak by allowing emotions to seize your judgment. You surrendered your mental strength to feelings and chaos. And the moment you did that, you became prey. Understand this. Pain is inevitable. But how you perceive it is your choice. In the psychology of power, he who controls meaning controls everything. Life can break your body, but if it breaks your mind, then you were never ready from the start. This is the truth that most people flee from. You must unlearn the belief that an emotional reaction makes you authentic. It does not. It makes you predictable. The world studies you. If your reactions are automatic, you already belong to others. They know how to hurt you. They know which words affect you. They know how to provoke your anger, sadness, and need for recognition. And every time you react the same way, you confirm that you have not changed. So what to do? You become emotionally disciplined, unfeeling, disciplined. You feel the heat, but you do not move until it is calculated. You cry, but only behind closed doors. You speak less, but every word cuts like a knife. You do not waste energy arguing with those who have already made their choice. Why? Because your focus is sacred, and no one deserves access to your mind unless they have earned that right. Machiavelli described that it is safer to be feared than loved. And in psychological warfare, love makes you soft. It ties you to an illusion. But fear makes people cautious. They will watch their words. They will doubt their actions. They will respect you, even if they do not understand. This is the sharpness you are creating now. Not just strength, but psychological sharpness. Control that does not need to shout to be heard. So the next time life throws fire at you, do not blink. Do not break. Look it straight in the eye. You have been broken before. This time you will break through. What is the difference between who you were and who you are becoming? If you are ready to replace emotional chaos with mental dominance, leave your comment. I feel nothing. I act with precision. Remember this phrase. You are not here to react. You are here to rise. The third step. Rewrite the script or remain broken. Most people stay broken because they accept the story that life has given them. They carry their suffering like a badge. I hope for your understanding. But Machiavellian power is not earned through pity. It is gained through mental warfare. If you want to become invulnerable, then rewrite your story. Right now, destroy every narrative that says you are a victim, that you have been wronged, that life owes you something. Life owes you nothing. But this will give you strength. If you prove that you are ruthless enough to take it, your trauma is not your identity. Your pain is not your essence. Stop calling it your truth. It was a phase, a blow, a trial. Now, obliterate it. You are not here to tell the world what happened to you. You are here to show the world who you have become because of it. People will try to remind you of your past. Let them try. Just make sure that the version of you they want to talk about no longer exists. This is how you control the narrative, by destroying the version of yourself that remained broken. Machiavelli understood that perception is more powerful than reality. So when you speak, let your words cut. When you walk, do not carry silence as a weapon. When you are doubted, do not explain. Rise above. And when life strikes again, as it will, you will not crumble. You will calculate, adapt, and use it. Because a person trained by pain becomes a master strategist. There will be nights when your mind becomes your enemy. You will start to question. You will want to disappear. And at that moment, you will have one choice: to crumble or to build. To crumble into weakness or to build your mental empire. You do not need more hope. You need more control. The mind does not respect motivation. It respects discipline. Feed it truth and teach it to obey under pressure. This is the truth you carve with blood. You are the unbroken version of your past. You are the weapon that the old version created. Say this to yourself: I have destroyed the old me. I move forward as a weapon. Write this down now if this switch has flipped within you. Let the world turn the pages. You are creating something they will never be able to touch again. Destroy attachment. Create inner strength. This is the quietest killer of mental strength. At first, you do not notice it. It feels warm, like love, loyalty, hope. But beneath the surface, attachment turns your strength into chains. You wait, you chase, you compromise, you lower your standards just to keep people around. Places and opportunities that were never meant to stay. And this is the first crack in your mental armor. Caring too much about what does not truly care for you. Machiavelli did not build his strength by clinging. He built it by observing, calculating, and stepping back when the moment called for it. If you want to teach your mind to withstand the betrayals of life, you need to deeply understand this principle. Never tie your peace to anything external. Do not pay attention to people, to results, or even to who you think you should be. Because at the moment something controls how you feel, it controls you, and a controlled person is a weak person. If you want to become dangerous, become emotionally independent, mastering the art of burying your calm amidst chaos. People will wonder why you do not react. Do not plead. Do not tremble. It is then that you will understand that transformation is working. Your silence becomes unsettling. Your absence becomes loud. Your detachment becomes your dominance. Because while the world panics, you remain composed. Not because you do not feel, but because you no longer need to. Every time you detach, you reclaim your power. Every time you stop explaining yourself, you sharpen attention. Every time you do not react, you earn respect. And every time you walk away, you remind the world that you cannot be possessed. You were created to be observed from a distance. Understand this. Being unflappable is not coldness, it is control. And in Machiavellian warfare, control is everything. Now they will try to make you feel guilty. They will say that you have changed, that you no longer care, that you have become selfish. Let them talk. The truth is that you have finally stopped playing the role of the emotional servant. You have stopped bleeding for people who never noticed your wounds. You have stopped shrinking so that others could feel superior. And now, when you have chosen power over approval, the same people who used your kindness will try to rewrite the script, but they will not succeed anymore. Because now you see it clearly, coldly, and with focus. You have confused attachment with loyalty for too long. But loyalty to others means nothing if it costs you your loyalty to yourself. This is a turning point. You do not need closure. You do not need applause. You need clarity, mental distance to make your next move in silence. This is what Machiavelli would call the highest discipline of rulers. To act without being noticed, to feel without being enslaved, and to cut off without hesitation when necessary. So train your mind to shed what limits you, to free what drains you, and to silence what distracts you. You are not in this world to please. You are here to take a stand. And positioning begins with emotional detachment. You must build an inner fortress to which no one has the key. And once you do, the world will lose control over you. They can talk, leave, lie, or betray, but they will never break what they cannot access. The more you detach, the more they notice. Not because you have disappeared, but because you no longer depend on being noticed. Power is not chased. Power recedes and allows absence to strike. This is your new form of warfare. Subtle, cold, and effective. If something has finally broken inside you, if you are ready to sever all emotional ties and move forward with power, I want you to say it right now. Attachment is weakness. I choose control, say it, affirm it, let the weak scroll past. Because you are here to rule from within. Solitude is where kings are formed. They will tell you that being alone is dangerous, that isolation is a sign of failure, that distance means you are broken, but that is a lie told by those who cannot endure silence. The weak need noise. They need people around them constantly to distract from the war within. But you are different now. You are entering a phase that most will not survive, a phase of chosen isolation, not loneliness, but solitude. And in this solitude, you will build something unshakable. Your mind. This is the moment when the world becomes quiet and your thoughts become loud. Every fear, every insecurity, every regret will rise to the surface. This is not an attack, but a test. It is here that Machiavelli shone. He observed, plotted, honed his mind in the darkness, while others played to the crowd, because isolation provides this. A space free from illusions. You begin to see clearly who you are, what broke you, and what needs to be burned away to rise. Most people run from this. They fill the silence with music, with people, with constant scrolling of everything to escape their reflection. But you will sit in this silence and command it. You will hear your mind scream and not flinch. You will hear old beliefs pleading to stay, and you will destroy them one by one. This is not healing. This is transformation, and it is never pretty. It is brutal, cold, but real. Here you rewrite your code. You stop thinking like a servant and begin to think like a strategist. You detach from emotional noise and attach to tactical clarity. You reprogram how you wake up, how you speak, how you enter a room. You no longer chase dopamine. You strive for discipline. You no longer ask why something happened. You ask how you can use it. This shift is your rebirth. Not gentle, not spiritual, but strategic. In isolation, you will find every weakness trying to return. Old habits will whisper. Past relationships will try to resurrect. Your doubts will disguise themselves as logic. But it is here that you separate yourself from 99%. You do not answer the knock. You do not open what broke you. You build in solitude. You learn in solitude. You evolve in solitude. And when they see you again, you will not be the same. When a person returns from isolation, they are either more broken or more dangerous. There is no middle ground. The weak return needing validation. The strong return needing nothing. This is your path. You do this not for attention. You do this to reclaim your edge. The world rewards those who control themselves. Do not focus on those who broadcast their journey to healing. Silence becomes your hall. Loneliness becomes your weapon. And when life throws fire at you once more, you will not run away. You will walk through it with a mind tempered in solitude and eyes that do not blink. This is what frightens them, that you no longer need a room to feel whole, that you no longer share your plans, that you no longer seek understanding, because now you have tasted what true power is. Freedom from the approval of the world. Machiavelli described his sharpest strategies in solitude. He understood that influence is not built in a crowd. It is created in the shadows, and you must act accordingly. Stop trying to fix your mind in public. Stop seeking answers from people who do not even know themselves. Go inward. Go into the darkness. Let your silence prepare your next step. And when you return, do not explain, do not announce. Just act. Those who left you doubted you, played with you. They will not know how to react. Because you will return without emotions, without need, without dependence. Just calm, ruthless precision. This is what happens when you embrace isolation. You do not become an improved version of yourself. You become someone they could never have imagined. So let me ask you a question. Are you ready to disappear from everything that distracts you and emerge as that which they fear? If the answer is yes, say it right now. I am training in silence. I am returning with strength. Let them keep talking. You are done explaining. You are just beginning. Point 6. Pain is precision. Think like a tactician. Pain is the greatest test of intelligence that life gives you. Not school, not books, not diplomas, but pure pain. The kind that breaks your routine, bends your ego, and shatters your illusions. And in this chaos, the weak beg for comfort. But the future rulers grow quiet. They stop feeling and start calculating. They look at pain as a message, as a puzzle, as a warning shot from the universe saying, adapt now, or disappear. If you still react to pain emotionally, you have not understood it yet. Pain is data. It shows where you are vulnerable. It reveals what can be used against you. It uncovers whom you relied on, whom you overestimated, and where your defensive lines were weak. Here, you stop seeing pain as an enemy and begin to use it as a scalpel. You dissect it. You stay with it. You ask, why did this hit me so hard? And the answer always comes down to one thing. You allowed your mind to fall asleep. Machiavelli would tell you, never let the world lull you into softness. The world is an unsafe place. It is a game board with moves, traps, and consequences. And when you perceive life as a battlefield, you begin to act like a tactician. Pain ceases to be bad. It becomes feedback. Your broken heart is data. Your failure is coordinates. Your betrayal is a list of vulnerabilities to be closed. While others crumble under emotions, you begin to generate responses, not reactions, responses. Because a response is a product of strategy. It is timely, it is chosen, it is cool. That is power. You see how most play checkers, with their pain, jumping too quickly, too loudly, too desperately. But you play chess. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, where can this pain place me in the long term? This is Machiavellian thinking, cold, clear, focused. Every time life strikes, analyze without bleeding. What has it revealed? What weakness in your system made this possible? What blind spot allowed them to get close? What habit left your energy scattered? Pain is not just an alarm signal. Is it a plan? But only if you are ruthless enough to look at it without flinching, and that is where your power multiplies. When you begin to predict pain, you stop falling into the same traps. You see the pattern before it repeats. You read people before they open their mouths. This is not trauma. It is tactical memory. It is your nervous system speaking. I have seen this move before. We will not fall for it again. This is the birth of intuition, sharpened by experience, filtered through logic. You no longer float along the current of life. You observe and draw conclusions from your observations. That is what makes you intimidating. But strategy is not only about what you do to others, but also how you relate to yourself. You wake up with a clear plan. You do not let random thoughts dictate your mood. You do not allow emotions to guide your decisions. You sit quietly, breathe, and determine what today demands from you. Do you need to be calm, cool, confident, silent, aggressive? Strategic people never enter a situation unarmed. And this weapon is not in your hands, but in your mind. You begin to filter everything: conversations, relationships, habits. You stop speaking for approval. You start speaking with intention. You cease to show up to be liked. You begin to arrive with presence. And every time someone tests you, you do not bark. You observe. You do not argue. You note. You do not react. You change your position. This is the person that life fears. The one who does not just endure pain, but uses it to sharpen their edge. You walk differently, think ahead, smile less. But when you do, it means something. You do not need to be loud. Your silence becomes a warning. It is energy that changes the atmosphere without a single word. Were you taught to feel your feelings? No, feel your strategy, studying your patterns, restructuring your reactions. Emotion is a signal, not a command. It is here not to rule you, but to guide you toward deeper logic in presence and precision. And if you learn to remain calm under fire, they will never see your next move. That is what they fear the most. Not a person who explodes, but a person who calculates in silence. Machiavelli understood what the world has forgotten. Strategy is the only true power. Calmness extinguishes the emotions of the weak, but strategy outlasts them all. This is how the weak turn the tide, how the broken rewrite the outcome. And now, this is your new identity, not stronger, but sharper, not healed, but calculating, not kind, but impenetrable. So from this moment on, stop pleading for less pain, but learn to find value in it. That is how you win. You do not rise by being the loudest. You rise by being the one who knows how to move without succumbing to influence. If you are ready to turn pain into power, real, dangerous, strategic power, I want you to write that down right now. I no longer react. I change my position. Write this down. Claim it for yourself. Act silently. Let the weak continue to scream while you work on your next step. Become emotionally impervious. Destroy their control. Let us clarify one thing. The world does not destroy you with weapons. It destroys you with expectations, pressures, emotional traps. You are told to be polite when you should be silent, to forgive when you should walk away, to explain when you should disappear. And every time you submit, you lose a part of yourself. That is how control works. Not through force, but through emotions. But you no longer play this game. You no longer bleed for those who sharpen the knife. This is where your emotional imperviousness begins. Not insensitivity, but imperviousness. The difference is that insensitivity avoids, while imperviousness absorbs and remains unshaken. This is the strength you are building now. You do not allow their words to pierce you. You do not let their absence shake you. Their opinions do not surpass your standards. You hear it, you see it, but it does not reach your core. Why? Because you have fortified the walls within yourself, and now nothing but the truth penetrates inside. The weak give away their energy without regret. One insult, and they spiral down. One ignored message, and they lose all self-respect. One obstacle, and they become a victim. But Machiavelli would tell you that a ruler must be unyielding, not because he is cruel, but because he is focused. You cannot govern your empire if you cannot manage your emotions. You cannot lead others if anyone can destabilize you with a few careless words. And you certainly cannot protect your mind if you are giving access to it left and right. You need to scrutinize everything that touches your energy. Every conversation, every environment, every person. You must ask yourself, does this strengthen you or scatter you? And as soon as you feel yourself starting to constrict, doubt, or waver, cleanse it emotionally, strategically, calmly. There is no room for weakness here. This is a matter of survival. They do not need to know that you have finished. They simply need to feel the emptiness where your emotional investment used to be. You are not here to seek clarity from people who enjoy confusing you. You are not here to prove your worth to those who benefit from your doubts about it. Your self-respect is no longer up for discussion. Do you know who you are? And this version does not ask twice. It does not chase. It does not beg. It leaves so quietly that people begin to wonder if they ever had access to you at all. This makes you intimidating. You no longer succumb to manipulation. They cannot predict your reaction. You respond with calmness, not chaos. You do not react to provocations. You do not shout. You do not argue. You disappear, first emotionally, then physically. And when they begin to search for that version of you that played their game, they will find emptiness. This is power. This is your new weapon, the absence of charged presence. You need to set such a high standard that anyone who brings inconsistency, disrespect, or emotional confusion self-destructs before they can reach your core. Not because you attack them, but because your emotional integrity acts as a mirror, showing them who they are. And most people cannot bear their reflection, especially when it is no longer softened by your sympathy. Let them call you detached. Let them say that you have changed. They are right. You have changed. You have outgrown that version of yourself that needed approval, that explained itself, that tolerated. You have become unresponsive to everything that drains you, and now they can feel it. This is coldness, not hatred. This is peace. This is silence, not distance. This is protection. You no longer strive to be understood. You strive to be left alone. Machiavelli said that the first way to assess a ruler's intelligence is to look at who surrounds them. So ask yourself, who has access to your world? Who still holds emotional power over you? Who do you let in, even after they have shattered your mind countless times? This is your audit. This is your mission of cleansing. And when this is done, you will become lighter, sharper, more dangerous than ever before. Because there is nothing more powerful than a person who has learned to protect their inner state, not through aggression or revenge, but through distance, discipline, and detachment. You do not demand respect. You live in such a way that disrespect cannot enter your space, and when life tries to test you again, it will not find the previous points of entry, because you have sealed the cracks, burned the bridges, and now stands a mind that is impervious to everything that once broke it. So I will ask you, are you still reacting or controlling? Are you still bleeding from the same stories, or are you rewriting them? Are you still giving emotional power to the unworthy, or have you severed the connection? If you are tired of being emotionally available to what weakens you, right now, my calm is locked away. No one shall enter. Allow the world to reach out to you. This door is sealed. You have entered a state of psychological control, and once you achieve it, you will never go back. Arm your presence. Command without words. Influential people do not speak often. They do not explain themselves. They do not argue in public. They walk in silence. Yet their presence speaks louder than any words could. This is not arrogance. It is poise. They know the battlefield they step onto. They know that eyes are watching them. They understand that perception shapes reality. And they know that the less you speak, the more control you have. You do not need to raise your voice to be heard. You need to carry an energy that makes people feel your presence without understanding why. This is what Machiavelli meant when he wrote that rulers must appear strong, even if they are not. Because in the game of power, perception always outweighs the truth. And now you are training to become an impenetrable, calm, cool, controlled presence, so composed that those around you feel exposed in your company. Not because you are doing anything, but because they cannot decipher you. Your silence becomes a mirror. People project their guilt, their fear, their intentions onto you. And you say nothing, allowing them to reveal themselves while you reveal nothing. This is how you win without lifting a finger, by being someone who does not need words to change the atmosphere. Have you seen this before? The room changes when a certain person enters. The energy shifts, conversations change, people adjust their posture. This is not magic, it is presence. And presence is built in solitude, in discipline, in quiet self-governance. It is built when you no longer chase approval, when you walk with a confident calmness in who you are and who you are not. This is where your true dominance begins. Not in strength, but in the refusal of excessive expression. Weak men overcompensate and talk too much. They boast too loudly and explain themselves too often. This is masked insecurity. But you become something rarer. A person who can sit calmly in the storm, who does not flinch at insult, who does not react because they are always 2 steps ahead. You are no longer interested in being loved. You want to be felt. This is the difference. Loved men are available, soft, flexible, while those who are felt are unpredictable, self-sufficient, and respected from a distance. You do not ask for attention. You draw it in, and as soon as you withdraw, they panic. They feel it, because the silence of a strong person is louder than empty voices. Machiavelli would say that the most fearsome people in history were not always the loudest. They were the most thoughtful. They did not disclose their plans. They executed them. They did not seek togetherness in the noise. They allowed their absence to reshape the room. This is what you are learning now, to replace the notion of presence, to substitute the explanation of observation, to enter a space like your energy, which is currency. Because it is so, if they do not respect your presence, make them feel your absence. If they interrupt you, fall silent. If they challenge you, respond with actions. They are the noise. This is a new form of warfare. Psychological, invisible, deadly. You do not need to dominate with aggression. You dominate by remaining untouchable, by being the one who does not engage, the one who walks away without needing to explain why, the one who never asks to be noticed but is always seen. But do not confuse this. Such power is not for the weak. It requires the utmost self-control. You need to kill the need to prove yourself. You need to bury the impulses to defend your name every time it is spoken. You need to train your face to remain still when they laugh, provoke, or try to expose you. That is when you win, not when you respond, but when you give them nothing, no reaction, no access, no emotions, just a calm, cold face that says, "I saw this. I calculated this, and it was not even worth my breath." You become dangerous when you stop reacting, when your silence forces people to confront themselves, when your presence makes them choose their words more carefully. This is how respect is built, not through demands, but through psychological contrast between what they expect from you and what they receive. If they expect you to argue and you remain silent, that is power. If they expect you to chase after them and you disappear, that is power. If they expect you to fold your arms and you stand taller, that is true, calculated strength. They will not say it, but they will feel it, and they will adapt. This is what fear looks like without cruelty. It is disarming and more human. It is about behaving as though you do not need them, do not trust them, and do not explain yourself to them. This alone frightens people because most cannot survive without attention. Most cannot breathe without validation. But you teach yourself to thrive in silence, and this makes you a threat in every room you enter. From this day forward, let your presence speak for you. Do not explain your worth. Become so focused, so emotionally disciplined, and so enigmatic that they feel it before you speak. You do not owe the world your words. You owe yourself your strength. If you are ready to become this, write it down now. My presence, my strength, my silence, my impact, an unbreakable mind, cold, clear, untouchable. You felt betrayal, endured silence, sat alone in the dark, with thoughts that nearly consumed you alive. And yet you are still here, stronger, silence, colder. Not because life has become easier, but because you have finally understood. The world does not reward softness. It rewards the mind, which refuses to die, even when everything else perishes. This is the moment when you become something else, not a survivor, not a victim, but a weapon. Present.